Hi there, this is Lisa. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to show you how to make a really simple card that is elegant and uh, simple to make. I haven't filled in the inside of that one yet, but this technique can be used many different ways. And but there's a couple of different ways that you can actually do it. So I'm going to show you 3 different ways to get this dimensional look for your cards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ontario, so if you're in Canada and you see something that you'd like, any of the products that I'm using, I will list below in the comments section, and just click on the link and it'll take you right to my online store. Or if you have any questions, you can actually contact me through that website as well. So today, I'm going to make 3 different cards. And first of all, I'm going to start with my card bases. So the first one, I'm going to be using Bumblebee as my card base. And typically, I don't usually make one card at a time. So I'm going to score my whole sheet right down the middle. It's 8.5 by 11. And I'm going to score it at 4 1/4 all the way down using the lighter colored blade. The dark one here is the blade for cutting, and this is the scoring tool. So I'm just going to go right down 4 1/4, and I'm going to turn my cardstock and I'm going to cut it in half at 5 1/2. 5 1/2 is half of 11. So here I've got 2 card bases, and I might as well do the other one while I'm here. So I'm going to score this at 4 1/4. Ooh, get that blade out of there. And then I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2. So now I have 4 card bases. Okay. So I'm not going to put that too far because we're going to need it in a couple of minutes. The next thing I need is a piece of basic white that is 5 1/4 by 4. And to get this little detail that I have on this card, this little scoring detail, which, you know, as simple as it is, it really finishes the card. So I'm going to, again, use just my score tool. I'm going to get my blade out of the way. And I'm going to score it at, let's see, 1/4, I think. No, I think I'm going to go at 3/8. And I'm going to go all the way around at 3/8. 3/8 is right there. Now, I mean, you can go in at 1/2 inch. You can do whatever you like. On this particular card, I liked the 3/8, and then I'm going to go again in at 1/2 inch. So if you look at the cutter, you can actually do it from either side, but when you have the big piece on the flat side, it's easier to control your paper. So I did it at 3/8, which was this line, and then no, sorry. Yeah, 3/8, which is this line, and then I'm going to go to 1/2. So 3/8 and 4/8. 4/8 is 1/2, right? So I'm going to go to there, 1/2, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go all the way around. And again, you can choose, you know, play around with it and choose what works for you. Doesn't have to be the same on every card either. You know, you can just get creative. Oops, my blade just flew off. Okay, I'll get that in a minute. So when you flip it over, this is the side that you want to use. This is the side that you scored, and then that's the flip side. Isn't that pretty? So next, I've taken the liberty to pre-cut 3 of these just to save a little bit of time. So the first technique I'm going to use is just using my silicone sheet, which is right here, and some glue. glitter all over my sheet there. And you just put a little bit of glue. Not too much. And take one of your sponges. Now, I'm not 100%, I don't think these sponges are available anymore. Actually, let me just check. But you can use just a makeup sponge. That will work for you just fine. And I just cut them in quarters. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my wheat, looks like wheat, and I'm just going to load up my sponge with glue. And I'm just going to get kind of an even coat of glue on my little wheat. Okay, and then I'm going to lay it on top of the next one. Just make sure that you're lining up as you go. And the good thing about using the liquid glue is that when you do it, you can adjust your positioning. You can slide it over, just using pressure to slide it over. Okay, there's one. Okay, and same thing with the next one. We're just going to lay it down and do exactly the same thing. There we go. Sticking to my finger here. And if you were doing a bunch of them like I do, you could pre-cut all of your die cuts and then just sit in front of a movie or something and glue them all together. Do it assembly line style and get these ready for the next phase. And there we go. That's so simple. So there's our layered piece. And it's got quite a bit of structure and it looks really good. Okay, so we're finished with this. So I'll take my card base and I think I'll put this one on the cinnamon cider, this one. So I'm going to fold my card base. Just burnish my score line with my bone folder. See, and that's going to sit like this. So simple, but so elegant. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to take cinnamon cider ink and I'm going to take I'm going to use the sentiment "Thank You Kindly" from the Delicate Dahlias. And the Delicate Dahlias is actually a free stamp set with a $120 purchase during celebration, which ends in 10 days. It ends on the 30th of September. So if you haven't placed your order yet for September and you want to cash in on some of the freebies, I'll show you really quickly what is in the celebration booklet. So it's good from August the 3rd till September 30th. And there's all sorts of free things. There's this bedazzling, beautiful paper. I have a little piece of it here. Look how shiny that is. Stunning. And that's 6 by 6. That's free with a $60 purchase. This penguin DSP is also free with a $60 purchase. Look at how cute they are. And Feels Like Home. This is a beautiful stamp set. What else? Oh, the beautifully penned designer series paper is a black and white paper. So it's more white on one side and then darker on the other side. It's really pretty. And the Reindeer Peaceful Prints designer series paper is also free with a $60 purchase, and it's got reindeer and plaid and all kinds of things on it. It's gorgeous. And then the Counting Sheep, the little stamp set is adorable, and also for $60 is a free die set. So if you spend $120, you could actually get both of them. And then for $60 also is the Textures and Frames. That's sweet. And for a $120 purchase, you can pick these Summer Shadows die set, which coordinates with the Summer Shadows stamp set, which you can see are highlighted here. Very pretty. And then here's the free Dahlia, Delicate Dahlia stamp set. And that's free with a $120 purchase. To become a demonstrator during the celebration, you can actually also, besides your starter kit, you can actually pick another whole bundle from a list that Stampin' Up! Has put together. Oh yeah, so you can choose $135 worth of product, or sorry, $165 worth of product for $135. Plus you get to choose a bundle that the value goes up to about $75 or $80. And you choose which one you want. They don't assign you one, so it's a pretty darn good deal for starting up. And then you're not obligated to do classes or videos or anything like that. Some people do it just, they consider it kind of a discount shopping club, because as a demonstrator you can get 20 to 25% off everything that you buy. So I mean, it's certainly an awesome deal. Okay, so now once again I need a little bit of glue and my sponge, and I'm going to glue up the back of my die cut here. Now to wash your silicone mat, you just take it to the sink and wash it with soap and water. The glue won't stick to it, it just comes right off. It's fabulous. Okay. And then you just put this wherever you think you'd like it. Take away the cat hair. Beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous. Okay, and then this can just go on the back of your card base. Oops. Oh, that was close. That darn near landed in me. That wouldn't have made me very happy. And then just center it on the front of your card base. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. And some embellishments. What do I have? So I've got my in color enamel dots, my 20 to 22 in color dots. So I think we'll use those. I've got my take a pick tool. And I'm just going to put a few of these around. There. Absolutely elegant and so easy to do. Okay, so that's technique number one. I'll just pop these back into my box there. Okay, so now for technique number 2, I didn't pre-cut it because I wanted to show you the whole procedure. So for this next technique, I'm going to take a piece of Whisper White and a sheet of the double-sided adhesive sheets. So that will probably do it. It comes 6 by 12, and there's 12 sheets in there, I think. Yep, 12 sheets. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up. So I'm just going to peel it like this. I'm going to lay my very straight, but that's okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to trim it right next to where my cardstock is. And then just save this piece for your next project for a label or something. Okay, and then this piece just peels off. However, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that back on here just because I don't want sticky stuff all over me. And just give that a little trim so it sticks together. There. I won't have to deal with sticky stuff all over the place. Okay, so what I have now is I have cardstock on the top and a peel away backing on the back, and that will become like a sticker. So I'm going to take, oh, what dies will I use? I think I'll use Forever Flourishing. This was from the Harvest. This one was from the Harvest dies from the holiday catalog. And this is from Forever Flourishing from the annual catalog. And it's on page 71, I think. Yeah, 71. So I'm going to cut out 3 of these using my stamp emboss machine. I just need my other plate. There's one. I'm just going to push through here to get this to fall out. Okay, there's one. There's 2. Okay, and there's our 3rd one. It's over here. Okay, so now this is easy to put together as well. And I'm just going to find my silicone sheet. Now you don't need to have to. I could have gone to wash my other one, but for time's sake, I do classes, so I have several that I take with me when I do classes. So, and on the back of here, you can see there's like a, well, you probably can't see it, but there's like a little crack where the paper is divided. So I can actually just peel the paper off from the little crack, like a little divider. So it's a good idea whenever you're doing anything with adhesives to use your silicone pad, because the glue doesn't actually stick to it. So if you do mess up a little, there we are. This may look fiddly, it's not fiddly at all. I think once you've done one, you'll go, oh, that's so simple. Okay, now I got my third one. And you don't have to be restricted to 3. I think 3 is a good number. It gives you a nice, a little bit of volume, but not too much. You don't want to be worrying about postage and things like that. These two guys here. It's so beautiful out tonight. I should be outside, not in the basement. And this too, even though it's very sticky, it does give you a little bit of wiggle room. Like if you have to readjust your placement a little bit, you can do it with no problem. I'm excited that I've got an email going out tomorrow that classes are starting again in person. I'm hoping that we don't have another shutdown. There's kind of talk about another lockdown, which I'm not too happy about. There, so you can see everything is all lined up. Beautiful. And now I'm going to take my trimmer sheet again and take another piece of Whisper White, basic white, that is 4 by 5 1/4. There it is, this. And I'm going to do the same thing because I actually really like that look. So I'm going to score it at 3/8 again. Oh, yeah, my thing fell off. My scoring blade fell off. Get that back on there. There we go. 3/8. 3/8. And then a half. So these cards are my September swaps. I finally got my August swaps out yesterday. No, was it yesterday? Yeah. Way behind the 8 ball. We have a fabric shop in Coburg that we're winding down. We're retiring from that. So it seems to be taking up all of our time. And that's why you haven't seen much of me. I've been finishing up customer quilts, and we're closing up our fabric shop. Okay, so this one, let's see, which one will I do? I think on this one I will do the bumblebee. I must say, in all of this COVID business and getting the shop ready to be closed, I have to give a huge shout out to my staff at the store. They're absolutely amazing. And I don't know, they just work so hard, and I'm so grateful for them. Hopefully we'll keep in touch once the store closes. Okay, so I have to do my sentiment, and I think I'll just use the same sentiment because you never have too many thank you cards. So I need my chamois just to give that a clean because I had the cinnamon cider on my stamp before, and I'm going to go with the bumblebee this time. That looks nice. Remember when you're stamping, especially if you have new ink pads, you don't want to be squishing your stamp right in there because this is what you're going to get. Oh, it doesn't look too bad. I was thinking of, see how you have a shadow there? This is what you do not want. Okay, so when you are putting ink on your stamps, just, there's an American, gosh, I can't think of her name, Connie Stewart, an American demonstrator who says, just kiss the bunny. I think that's so cute. So I'm just going to line that up. And you can see I've put my stamp on my block on a horizontal, and that allows me to concentrate on the bottom of the stamp as opposed to the bottom of the block. So even if it's on the block crooked, I can still line up my wording with my score lines, which I know are straight. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that right down on there. And it, you know what, honestly, it's a little crooked, but I can live with it. Okay, so I'm going to glue this onto my card base. You don't need to be heavy-handed with your glue. I find less is more. When I first started, I was a little bit heavy-handed with the glue, and I found that my paper would bubble, and it drove me bonkers. Okay, and then on my last one, I do have the double-sided sticky on the back of my die cuts. Oops, this one is crooked, see that? But I can go in there and just slide it over, I think. Yep. Beautiful. Okay, straighten that guy out. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to pop this on here. How pretty. And, excuse me, I'm going to use some of the black and white gingham ribbon that's in the holiday catalog. Just going to tie a little quick bow here. Oh my God, I can't tie a bow today to save my life. Okay, let's go that way. There we go. That's better. Okay. I'll take my ribbon scissors. And grab a glue dot here. Okay, and I'm just going to pop that on there. Then I'm going to take my in color. Oh, I think I'm out of my bumblebee ones. Okay, so I'm going to use, we need bling always, of close this. And I'm going to use some of these opals. They are really pretty. All right. I wish they were a little smaller. I do love them, but I do wish they were a wee bit smaller. There. Isn't that pretty? Beautiful. Okay, so that's the other card. Now the third way is to use the adhesive foam mats, not mats, adhesive foam, what are they called? Let's just look it up. I can't remember what they're called. Adhesive. Here we are. Adhesives on page 167. They are called the cling. Nope, that's not it. Foam adhesive sheets. Okay. So to use them, you just peel off one side and pop it on your cardstock. Okay. Just gonna trim that away. Okay, and I'm going to use, I wonder if the other dice, the other, put it on there. It's a little snuggy, I think. I think that we will. If I do it that way, no. So we'll use this one again. So my piece isn't very big, so I'm going to use the same die cut that I used on the other one. Now, I'm holding this up to the light to make sure that it's going to fit. And don't do what I did the first time, is cut it on the shiny side, because that's the side where you peel the backing off and it goes on your card. So what you want to do is make sure that you have your die cut on the cardstock part of it, okay? So let me grab my die cutter again. My Stamp Emboss machine. Okay, and I'm just going to pop this right on here and make sure that I'm on, I think over this way, make sure I'm on my foam part, because for sure that's, you need to have that part. So I'm going to just run this through like this. Now typically I don't go back and forth, but on this one I'm going to, and I don't know whether I really need to or not, but I'm going to. Okay. Put that away. And then this just pops right out. Beautiful. Okay. My backing just wanted to come all the way off, and that's okay. That's why we have silicone mats. So let me grab my silicone mat again. And I'm just going to poke out this last little bit there. Okay, I'm going to lay that here until my paper's ready. And then I'll show you the difference between the just grab another piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. And this time I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do this technique. Okay, so I'm going to grab a... So to do that technique, I'm going to be using a stencil. They're called Masks by Stampin' Up. And in the annual catalog, there are 2 different ones. There's the Plenty of Patterns and the Basic Patterns, I think. And then this Adorning Patterns is in the Holiday catalog. So we'll see the adorning ones are Snowflake. Isn't that cute? Kind of like a candy stripe. Little, I guess little hearts, kind of. Oh, you know what that looks like? Icing on a gingerbread house. And then this little florally thing. So those aren't calling my name for this particular card. So the basic pattern, I think, is the one that I used. Yeah. So this is out of the basic patterns. This is in the annual catalog on page 128. I use these a lot. And I guess I have to decide which card base I'm going to do. I think I'll do the Bumblebee. So I feel like I'm all over the place today. I'm out of practice from doing videos, so I'm not even remotely organized. So I'm going to take my 4 by 5 1/4 and I'm not going to square it up, like line it up centered or anything like that, but what I do want to make sure is that my stencil is square. Now, if I was doing a whole pile of these, I did do a series of cards earlier in the year. I don't think I made a video of them, I can't remember, but if I was doing a whole pile of these, I would actually tape a hinge on one side of my, well, actually I could do that. Okay, so I'm just going to use some masking tape and I'm going to line, I just want to make sure that this is somewhat square. And I guess it doesn't, I don't suppose it needs to be, but you know me. So I'm using the grid lines on my grid paper. This grid paper is available to purchase if you feel that it's something that would make you more organized. I love the grid paper. So I have this lined up on squares too, and if it makes you feel better, you can actually just take a little bit of tape runner and stick it in place, because the back of this is going to be against a card base anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? So you can just do that to hold it still. That's optional, 100% optional. So I am going to take my cinnamon cider. Boy, you should see my desk. Holy smokes, what a disaster. And I'm just going to grab some cinnamon cider ink. Now when you're doing stenciling, always start off your paper. And I really don't want to do the whole paper. I just kind of want to do like a little corner. So I'm going to start on this side actually, because that's where I want my darkest to be. I'm just going to lightly go up like that. There. Isn't that pretty? Pretty and easy. So I'm just going to grab a piece of paper towel and give my stencil a little quick wipe so that I don't get ink all over everything. So I'm probably not going to do another stenciled card today, so it doesn't matter. And I'm going to remove this tape runner because I need to score. Ooh, that's a disaster. Because I'm going to score the front of my sheet again, like I did the other ones. Okay, so I'll close that so I don't get that ink all over everything. And same thing, I'm going to score it 3/8. And if you think this is overkill, then, oh shoot, I'm doing it on the wrong side. Look at that. Ah. Okay. Yeah, that turned out okay. Thank goodness. Okay, so cinnamon cider. Oh, you know what? I said bumblebee and then I did the ink and cinnamon cider, so we're going to have to switch over to cinnamon cider. Good grief. That's okay. I'll do a bumblebee one next. Okay, and so now I can stick my flower, and you see how it just peels off the silicone mat. It doesn't, I think it's a little heavy-handed with, maybe not, looks all right, with the cinnamon cider. And stamp my sentiment. And again, you never have too many thank you cards, right? Okay, and now I can glue this onto my card base. Oh, that is so pretty. I was looking for a Thanksgiving sentiment. I know I have one somewhere, I just couldn't find it. And let's see, I want my cinnamon cider ribbon. This is one of the in color ribbons that are available right now in the annual catalog. And it's like a little twill ribbon. They're really pretty. Okay, I'll get that a little snippy. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, and I need a glue dot. Pop that glue dot right on there. Grab my in color. My little in color enamel dots there. So pretty. This would be a nice, it's more almost, I wouldn't say more masculine, but it's more, you could use this more if you were thanking a fellow as opposed to something more feminine like the Just Jade, you know. Isn't that gorgeous? Beautiful. Now I didn't do the insides of the cards today, but I just wanted to show you this technique really quickly so you can see the difference in thickness from using the foam sheets. It's quite thick. It's a good 1/8 of an inch thick. And then when you use 3 layers of the cardstock, you still get a beautiful dimension, but it's not as thick as the foam ones. Now I did a couple. Let's see if I can find them. So I was experimenting, and I used the basic gray cardstock for 2 of the layers on this one, and then the silver metallic foil sheets that are in the holiday catalog, the holiday mini. And then for the background here, I use the Evergreen Forest embossing folder. Isn't that gorgeous? Really pretty. So it's, you don't have to just stick with, an occasional little flower. You can take anything that you think will look great layered and make it dimensional. See how thick that is? It's beautiful. But instead of using foil for all of the layers, because you only get 2 sheets and it's expensive, more expensive, it's not crazy expensive, then I just used a matching cardstock at the back for my first couple of layers and then put the metallic one on top. There. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed doing it with you. Thanks so much. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with me at crittersandink.com or crittersandink@gmail.com. Thanks so much. Have a great night. Bye now.